That is like some like Conjuring 2 stuff, dog.
Yeah.
That would freak me out.
It's like Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, it
Sounds
is.
like something he would
It
sing.
really does.
Oh,
It's Sam.
It's Sam Tompkins.
Oh. In the name of love.
5.
Hello.
Ren, chapter 5. What's up, everybody? It's Rilla.
EJ.
This is EJ Rilla, and we are going through the Ren chapters. And I hope you have been following along with us. We just recorded the chapter 4, and that is on our channel as well as all the other ones. So you can see in the description all of the other ones if you wanted to. I'm also going to make a playlist specifically for the chapters.
Oh, cool.
So that way you can easily find them all. But
boom.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's really been kind of awesome to watch his story, even though it has been pretty sad for the most part. It's good context.
Yeah, it is.
For us going forward, I think, with Ren.
Dude, anytime you get a background of why something was created, a band,
Yeah,
a piece of music, it brings extra life to it.
Yeah,
it does. Every time I discover a new band, I do my research. Who are the band members? Where are they from? You know, what are they into? What do they play? My favorite thing to do. It matters, dude. And
Really
hearing
does.
his background story leads to his why he writes what he writes, why he's where he's at. It's just
when it helps us with context of some of his songs too.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, wait, why did he say that? Oh,
like all of a sudden he says a line. We're like, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's good. Okay.
let's jump in. Ren,
to 5.
chapter 5.
I tried to cling on to music in whatever ways I could during the time I was sick. During my time in Brighton, whenever my energy would allow it, I'd get myself out into the streets and I'd go busking, about once every 3 weeks or so.
What's
It was my second year in Brighton.
what's busking? He says that like 7 times now. Busking. Is that
I'm
like
just gonna drink while you keep talking because
Is that-
that's hilarious.
British slang for like music playing in the park?
Outside, yeah,
Busking.
buskin'. That's what it's called.
I am in love with that.
Yeah, they do it
I'm
in
gonna
New
go
Orleans too.
busking. Really?
Yeah, that's what it's called, busking.
Okay.
When you go out on the road and
Just like
sing.
just walk. Oh, like perform.
Yes, it's performance, like specifically, like if you're,
Busking.
anyone that's out with the guitar,
Yeah.
band, that's busking.
I love that. I love that I learned that today.
Big buskin.
I like that.
They called me that in high school too, the big buskin.
Brighton.
They did.
And I
I was
remember
there.
one evening
It was
heading home with my
uncomfortable.
guitar and my busking amp after a couple of hours of playing on the street. I remember hearing this amazing ethereal voice while heading through the lanes, and I saw that it was coming from this 16-year-old kid. I've always had a deep admiration and feeling of camaraderie for buskers. There's something about the willingness to be able to bare your soul to a street full of strangers that
Yeah.
really moves me. I noticed that the kid didn't have an amp. He was singing totally a cappella, but you'd only hear him if you were within a few meters of him. I knew from years on the street and singing a cappella than myself that an amp can change everything. I had this compulsion to offer him mine. I approached him and I told him that if he plugged in and sang while I played guitar, the whole street would stop in its tracks. And I was right.
Hell
His
yeah.
voice soared across the street and people started stopping. Not long after, we had the whole street's attention. Something quite magic was happening. This was the first day that I met Sam Tompkins.
Oh,
It's Sam!
It's Sam Tompkins.
Oh.
Okay, it all makes sense now.
See? This
This
is why we
was-
do this.
And we haven't done a lot of Sam Tompkins yet.
And remind me again, he was in the car in the video Power. Was he the driver?
No. I think that's Samuel.
Oh.
I think Sam Tompkins is a different guy. I think
Okay.
Sam Tompkins, because Samuel, I don't believe, sings or anything. I think he just is the film guy. I think Sam is the guy that he sang a couple songs with that we haven't got to yet.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
if I'm wrong, let me
Was
know.
Sam Tompkins the guy that Ren brought on stage at the concert?
No, that's Victus.
Victus, right.
Victus is the guy with the tattoo right under
Yep.
his...
As yep.
Yeah.
That's good too.
Someone who would be integral to my whole life changing later on. He had a friend with him, this guy called Connor Honeyset, who would later go on to be my manager. For
Connor,
now, they'd just
okay.
be a couple of teenagers that I'd have to help out on my way home. It's funny how life works like that.
Wow.
I kept up to date with what Sam was doing on social media. There was a part of me that felt like his successes allowed me to live vicariously through someone else who lived an alternate reality where I never got sick. He was getting videos on SBTV, writing and featuring with some amazing artists, and there were quite a lot of similarities in our writing styles, and all at such a young age. I wasn't really able to do any of that stuff at the time. I was mostly bedbound with the exception of the odd day that I'd be able to go busk.
So he was kind of like living his world through Sam.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah,
watching
almost.
him do the stuff he unfortunately couldn't.
Yep.
So it was kind of cool. I'm sure there was a bond there too, even more.
Yeah.
After seeing him able to do that.
Yeah.
It could have been very easy for that feeling to turn into jealousy, but it never did. I felt truly proud of him. Years later, we go on to write a song together called Blind Eyed, which would transform the trajectory of my whole career.
We haven't listened to this yet, but we need to.
During this time, I was still desperately jumping from one treatment to another treatment. And now that my diet had become more limited, I was trying new diets with no luck. As the options in the alternative health world started to dwindle, I started searching for answers in the divine. In the former years, I had moments where I found myself sitting in churches, talking in tears to whoever might be listening, or experimenting with energetic healing modalities like Reiki. With time, my searching started taking even more unusual
My mom does
turns.
Reiki.
I started looking to things like exorcists. Once you exhaust all rational explanations and treatments, the irrational suddenly starts looking more palatable.
It's a good movie.
I had a skeptic's mind, but I had
Great
nothing
movie.
to lose because there were no other good options.
Page 2.
My friend Momoko's mother was from Japan. She aligned herself with a sect of Buddhism called the Nichiren Daishonin. They would chant a repeated phrase over and over again while holding prayer beads. The chant would go, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Wow.
Over and over again.
That
It's
is like some like Conjuring 2 stuff, dog.
Yeah.
That would freak me out.
Well, I'm impressed that he did that really well.
Yeah, can you like rewind that a little bit?
I was like,
Yeah.
Nam Myung Ho Ringi Ku. I'm gonna back up a little bit more.
Yeah.
They would chant a repeated phrase over and over again while holding prayer beads. The chant would go, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho
Nam Yam Ho Renge Ku. Yeah.
Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Wow.
Over and over again.
Wow.
Its intention was to align you with your innate Buddhahood, to cleanse you of any bad karma and put you in alignment with your true destiny on earth, to find peace, to find tranquility. Momoko's mum gifted me with my own set of beads, and I began to chant every morning. Eventually, I joined a group in Brighton after a serendipitous meeting with an incredibly eccentric, bright, colourful suit-wearing piano tuner. He spotted my beads and he grinned at me and he pulled out his own. We'd sit in a small group and we'd chant for hours sometimes. There was something comforting about trusting the course of my life and illness to an incomprehensible power outside of myself. I spoke openly in these meetings that I loved feeling part of something, but that I really struggled saying with certainty that I believed in it. This was the issue I faced with every religion I temporarily aligned myself with looking for answers. Something in me couldn't bring myself to take ancient texts as gospel, all too aware of how man twists so-called spiritual doctrines to suit his own power-hungry pursuits. I wanted divine proof. I sometimes screamed at the sky or the waves and begged for it. I was answered with sickness. If there was a creator, I was angry with it. The irony was that I envied people of faith. I felt like people who truly trusted themselves to a higher power seemed to possess a level of calm and acceptance that I didn't. One of my stranger encounters was going to see a shaman. The shaman, of course, was a middle-aged white woman in a quite nice-looking cottage in Brighton. She told me to lie down, and she proceeded to lean over my body and made noises like coughing up phlegm, while speaking an unknown ancient language that seemed to include whistling noises. After about 20 minutes of making distressed groaning noises over my back, she paused in contemplation for a while, and proceeded to tell me that I'd been killed by a sword in my past life. She made sucking noises near the supposed stab site on my chest, and then she spat into a bucket. She then placed a little stone into my hand, and she told me that I had to bury it on a high hill in Brighton on the next full moon.
Yeah.
The most depressing part of this...
That sounds like somebody in my life that would do that.
That's not Reiki, is it?
No.
That's a different thing.
Reiki is doing hand motions just over the surface of your body
Okay.
and removing negative energy. Like if your shoulder is hurt, I would do this and I would feel hot for negative energy because of the pain, and I would remove it.
Okay.
My mom is into it. So
The
that's
more
why
you
I
know.
I don't know why.
Interesting.
Yeah.
story. is during the next full moon, I did indeed find a big hill, dug a small hole, and I buried the stone in it. Surprising to say, fuck all happened. It was this journey into the spiritual unknown that led me to a very unsettling experience. I located a therapist online who had claimed to overcome ME herself. She specialized in it and dealt with people's past trauma, but also worked with energies like Reiki. I had to get the train to where she lived. She met me in the car and drove me in silence back to hers. There was a bit of an unusual energy about her. I've always been really good at reading people. I can't quite explain it, but sometimes when I meet someone, it's like I have a sixth sense for whether or not they'll play a significant role in my life. This person's energy felt alien to me. When we arrived at her, she told me that she sometimes would consult with her horses about people's health conditions. It was at this moment I knew that she was probably insane. Nonetheless, I shared a lot about my life. We got into the trauma of living with sickness, what it was like to constantly mourn your own life. It was comforting at first, and it felt like a safe space, until it got a bit weird. One day she offered me a glass of water before a Reiki session, and during the session I fell into a deep sleep. When I came around, multiple hours had passed, which was peculiar for me. I usually have issues with sleeping and couldn't drift off, particularly not in unfamiliar environments. She assured me it was total normal and to get plenty of water, and I thought nothing of it. Lines started getting somewhat blurry when she'd invite me for meals with her and her husband. I took it as friendliness, but I noticed that she started messaging me outside of clinic hours.
Oh boy.
One time I agreed to create music for her in exchange for some extra sessions. Not long after, I started getting strange messages in my Facebook inbox. She started telling me how she knew that all my previous songs had been about her, which they hadn't. When I dismissed this, she would sometimes message me saying that she was outside of my house, telling me that our souls were bonded and that bad things would happen to me if we weren't together.
Crazy, dude.
To put it lightly, I was already in a pretty weird emotional place because of years of sickness. So having someone in a position of trust abuse their position like this shook me, and it shook my trust in therapy even more. It shook my trust in people in general. I told her to never contact me again, and I blocked her, but she would still occasionally get through on other numbers. One time she'd phoned my mum's house relentlessly. My mum, knowing the details.
This full-on stalker mode,
Yeah,
bro.
we gotta pause this.
Like, this
is.
I feel so
sad.
bad for Ren.
Yeah, this
Everything.
is sad. Every time he seems to find a hill he can climb, there's a mudslide.
Something, yeah.
It's awful.
It's like,
oh my god, this absolutely.
I think I said it in the last one. I was like, I keep waiting for like the good moment for him to have like, but then every time it's like, shit.
Yeah.
Some weird chick is now stalking
is
him. Like,
awful.
come on, man.
Else told her to stop harassing me and threatened to get the police involved after things which went silent. This was also the year that I met my second ever girlfriend, who I'd later be engaged to for a short amount of time.
What? He was engaged?
My little sister had already set the relationship up in her mind. She met this girl in Bristol who she got on with super well, and somehow she wingmanned me and planted the seed in her brain that she'd be perfect for her older brother, me. My sister's friend had moved to Brighton, but I was blissfully unaware of this matchmaking. At this point, I was living in a house share in Rose Hill Terrace in Brighton with some lunatics I'd met at Ben's house, and Momoko had moved down from Cornwall. The house was only meant for 2 people, but Momoko and I had pretended we were married and pretended that we were going to have a baby to be able to get it. As soon as the deed was signed, we moved in with about 5 other friends.
Loopholes,
one living
baby.
in the living room, one in the attic, one in the study, one in the conservatory. It's safe to say rent was pretty fucking cheap.
Yeah, I bet.
One night my friend Luke was throwing a party and she rocked up with a few of her friends. My sister had pretty good taste in girls and I had a crush on her instantly. At some point in the night we both ended up lying on my bedroom floor on a bunch of sofa cushions while about 6 other people were sleeping in various places in my room. One somehow in the upper compartment of my wardrobe. True story.
Been there.
She asked me to tell her a bedtime story and I made up the most unhinged story I could think of. By some sort of miracle she found my madness endearing and we ended up kissing a lot and staring into each other's eyes till we fell asleep.
Aww.
It's strange navigating a relationship when you're sick. I couldn't go out to eat at restaurants because I was allergic to everything. I didn't have the energy to do most normal things that couples do. Some days I'd be so full of brain fog that my personality disappeared, and it was hard to explain that to someone without them thinking that maybe you were just being a bit off with them. I think losing Joe, losing Callum, losing the record deal, losing my last girlfriend, it had all made me wary of getting attached to good things. Quite a lot of my illness made me feel ugly. And it's hard to accept love when you feel ugly. Nonetheless, she did love me, and with time our relationship grew.
I'm waiting for the crash and burn.
It was around this time I was contacted by a woman called Jennifer Brea, an incredibly inspiring woman whose journey seemed to parallel mine. She was an incredibly ambitious PhD student at Harvard who one day was struck down by a mystery illness that confined her to a wheelchair. She spent most of her life tirelessly searching for a way out. She was doing a Kickstarter to raise money to make a film called Canary in a Coal Mine. It would later go on to be renamed Unrest, and it would go on to win multiple awards, and it's still watchable on Netflix to this day.
Wow.
Well, we got to watch that damn movie.
Yeah.
Unrest? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Canary in the Coal Mine. I've heard that before. I've never heard of
like
the Unrest. But
That sounds like a play.
I'm going to write that down as we go.
Write that down.
And it would go on to win multiple awards, and it's still watchable on Netflix to this day. It's an incredibly important and very moving documentary about the horrors of living with ME. I recommend everyone checks that out. At the time, I started health blogging. I created a series of video diaries that I named Me versus ME. It would be a video document of my various trials with different alternative treatment approaches, and generally a look into the life of someone with a chronic illness. I didn't know it back then, but those videos would save my life. I guess I was occupying a place that was needed, as quite quickly many people in the chronic health communities gravitated towards my videos. Every day, I'd be sent messages telling the stories of the people who had fallen in between the cracks in the floorboards. There was heartbreaking stories. Stories of frustration and confusion. People mourning the people that used to be. Some who were new to this world. Some who had been there for decades. I tried to help them in whatever way I could. I tried to comfort people. In my own little way, I became somewhat of a spokesperson for the voiceless. I felt their pain like it was my own. This new pursuit gave me a sense of purpose that I desperately needed. Without purpose, I felt useless. I made a lot of friends, and I'd write to them on a daily basis. Some of those friends died. Some of those friends that decided to take their lives, and they were wicked people. I talked to them a lot. It was this that ultimately made me decide to stop, but that wouldn't be until years later. Immersing myself in the horrors of this illness and trying to carry some of the weight for the others while I still wasn't strong enough to carry my own eventually took its toll. Jen Bria had found my videos and she asked me to make a song for her documentary. I was honoured. I wrote a song called Patience. I'll leave you with a video taken at a time to finish off this chapter.
Yes, okay. Here we go.
And I've learnt some lessons that...
So this is for her documentary, The Unrest or whatever?
Yep.
Okay.
will be so valuable for like... So it's a blessing and a curse being this ill because it's completely changed me. Like, it's turned me from a little cocky teenager into somebody who's quite this, I guess, prepared for things now. Like I feel like once I've gone through this, I'll throw anything at me and it'll be okay. But at the same time, as much as I see it as a blessing, I hate it. I do hate it. I think it was Thomas Edison that was like, I haven't failed, I've just found 1,000 things that don't work, which is kind of nice to look at it that way, like I'm just eliminating things. But it really challenges my mind, and yeah, it's just gotten to the point where I'm spending, I'd say, like 95% of my life in a bedroom, which kind of sucks, because my mind is in such a different place in my body. My mind craves life so much.
It's alright, it's okay, I'm feeling brave, gonna face this day. It's okay, it's alright, no tears will kiss my cheeks tonight. And it's all good, and I'm just fine. My words ring out like hollow shells. Just slow down, it takes time, but time moves slow, I know this well. And my heart breaks 1,000 times a day. But for every hope that dies, another one takes its place. Because I have the strength of a mountain, and I've got the courage of the deep blue sea, and I have the heart of a lion, and the stars burn bright inside of me. And although you test me, my God, I stand so proudly. Can't you see that I have the strength of a mountain, and I'll take all you throw at me.
It's like Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, it
Sounds
is.
like something he would
It really
sing.
does.
This world is quite scary, I know that 'cause I've been here for some time, but all that prepares me for a day when I can truly shine, 'cause I've been so broken, and picking up fragments of myself, I'll glue them back together so I can stand at the edge of this world and yell that my heart breaks 1,000 times a day. For every hope that dies, another one takes its place, because I have the strength of a mountain, and I've got the courage of the deep blue sea, and I have the heart of a lion, and the stars burn bright inside of me, and although you test me, my God, I stand so proudly, can't you see that I have the strength of a mountain, and I'll take all you throw at me. Dust the cobwebs off this sheath.
Interesting.
It was like a
Yeah.
it's like a bridge without a bridge.
Yeah, I'm like looking at you like, what are we doing here? We're going like, is this the end of the song? Is it a wow?
I think it is like the bridge just without lyrics, maybe.
Interesting.
Let's see if he goes right into the chorus again.
I bet he does.
And I'll take the sword of my belief,
Yeah, this is like the bridge right here.
and in this storm I will not flinch, and I will not move, no, not an inch. Because I have the strength of a mountain.
Yep.
I've got
So he used that just as a transition
Interesting.
from his speed counts,
I like that.
because his song was fast
Yeah.
initially, and then he needed to slow
Slow
down.
it
to get to
down.
that.
Yeah.
So he just did some fun little
That was kinda-
transitions.
Yeah.
And then-
Very Ed Sheeran, like you said.
Yes,
Yeah.
like this chorus especially.
Yeah.
I heard it and I was like, wait, that's an Ed Sheeran song.
Even like this, like his voice with it is
Yeah.
like, yeah. Early Ren was Ed Sheeran. Who knew?
courage of the deep blue sea, and I
Ren
have
Sheeran.
the heart of a lion, and the stars they burn bright inside of me. But although you test me, my God, I stand so proudly, can't you see?
That's good.
I have the strength of a mountain.
Picked it up. That's good.
Beat it
And
up.
I'll take all you throw at me.
Imperfection Project. Nice.
Nice. Wow.
Okay. See, I
Okay.
want to hear that with a full band.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can super see that being like a really good, impactful full band song. Okay, Ren chapter 5. What did we learn, Eric? A new girlfriend?
We learned a lot.
Engaged?
Stalked.
Stalked? Insane. And
It was heavy. Lost a lot of friends. Then he found his community.
I think that was the big takeaway.
That was
from
big.
this.
He found the community.
Well, and it
Mhm.
was weird because he found his community, but then he had to stop because it was too intense.
Yep.
And it's all this. It's chapter 5. We still have what, 3 more? I think.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8.
I think the next few we're gonna learn about his music community,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
get to where we are now. So awesome! Thank you all for being here yet again. Another chapter. We'll see you in chapter 6.
Bye.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Because I have the strength of a mountain. I've got the courage of the deep blue.